What would you do if your holy text was used by another religious group? And what would you do then when your peoples are believed to be faced with eternal salvation or damnation based on the use or misuse of this holy text? This was the case for many religious Christians living alongside Jews during the medieval period, as the Old Testament was used by both Christians and Jews alike. It is very easy to say that this time period is full of anti-Semitic peoples. But what this fails to do is it fails to give an accurate representation of how Christians negotiated space with Jews during this time. My research focuses on one of these critical thinkers who sought to define Christian identity in the face of what he believed to be heresy and damnation. Now, as a disclaimer, the person I study is an incredibly racist human being whose views and opinions about society should not and would not be tolerated today. The person I study is Peter the Venerable, a 12th century abbot of a now extinct religious order. And you may be asking yourself, well, why study him? Good question. For starters, he is an excellent writer. Well, he was. He was called the Cicero of his day. And also because he was an incredibly powerful religious figure, arguably on par with the Pope, as the head of one of the largest monastic orders of his time period. And yet, even at the top, he was concerned that Jews would somehow lead Christians astray. My research focuses on his work as a whole to see how he uses logic to refute Jewish belief logically. My work then tries to understand the very foundation of this text to see how his words were made to affect the reader. Now there's a catch. The work itself was never meant to be passed on to Jews, as the work was only seen to be copied and recopied in Christian churches and monasteries. So what does this mean? Well, some scholars have argued that this text was made to be a guide to help Christian monks defend against the heresies of Judaism. But I argue it's far more than that. I argue that Peter wanted an emotional response from his reader, particularly that of disgust. When Peter talks about Jews, he refers to them as bestial, animalistic even, marking a clear divide between us and them, between what is clean versus what is corrupt. Jews then are seen as a disease within the body of the city, marking an ethical urgency to act. His work became the basis of anti-Judaism going forward, as his works were copied and recopied numerous times. It's important to understand the basis of anti-Semitism today, and is through this work. Thank you.